Anybody stand out today on your side of the ball during your scrimmage or on your position?
Great question. I think at times we had guys get better today for sure. And I don't think you ever truly know until you take a look at the video and all those things. Things are happening fast and all over the place, Randy. But our guys are playing really hard, and we've got some guys that are really leading. And I think what a great time if you could come in this program right now with I'm a young linebacker, and I've got Orion Vance there to watch and learn from, and Gary Vaughn, and these guys that have taken a lot of reps for us over the years that I think you're going to get better if you just want to work at it and commit to it. And I think that's happening right now through camp.
Speaking of those young guys, what have you seen from Will McLaughlin?
Well, to be honest, I would say, some guys that have been here a little bit longer, I would say Miles Mendezoon is having a good camp for a young guy and is really coming along and doing a nice job. Will has gotten a lot of reps for us. Things are moving fast for Will right now. Naturally, that should be the case for a guy like that, hopefully, but he's getting a lot of reps and he's improving and doing a nice job for us. He's working hard at it.
Is Reeder behind? Maybe not behind. Is he catching onto your system, or is that one of the 4 or 5 that he's already played?
He is catching on quickly, I would say. You can tell a big difference from Colby from spring to now. And I would say, to be honest with you, Randy, the last 2 practices, we have 3 practices, would be his best 3. Which is really super encouraging, and he's moving at a high rate of speed right now, which means he's picking things up naturally and understanding them too.
So is he playing in the middle, or?
He's playing outside. He would be the field outside guy. Yes, sir.
Is there a guy that you guys have had that he reminds you of? Maybe someone. What's his play style? I guess we would say.
Good question. Obviously, he's a big guy, so you could relate him to a couple of our big guys. He's a super sudden guy. And moves in a straight line really fast. So those would be the 3 qualities that are really good to have, and he has those. And the one thing that he brings in that is different than many guys is his experience, and that's yes, it is his first year here. He got here in January, but he's he's mature, he's experienced. He's not going to get overly rattled and down on himself. So that's obviously a great quality for him. But other guys can learn from that too that have been here probably the same amount of time,
I'm sorry. How valuable is his experience when you marry it with Orion's experience? And obviously it's important for them to bond because we know.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It's been different, I would say, for Colby. I think it's difficult anytime when you come into a program as an older guy and maybe you've been a leader in your prior program. That's a difficult transition, I think, especially if you're understanding the concept of team. However, I think that the number one thing we try to impress upon Colby and all the guys, if I can start with on-field communication and continue to improve at that and be really good there, then I've got a chance to help others on the field, which then will allow me to transform into a leader, I think. Really good question.
We spent the last 4 years talking a lot about Mike, obviously for good reason, stepping in as a day 1 starter, but it seems like the path to get on the field for you guys is kind of biding your time. Why has that been the case?
Well, yeah, I think really good question. I would say at this point in time right now, we have more viable depth as a 2 or maybe more than 2 deep than we've ever had. And a greater amount of competition than we've ever had collectively as a linebacker group here, which says a lot, which hopefully allows us to then play more than 3 or 4 guys, which would certainly be our goal. Then you're in the 4th quarter, you have your best guys in and they're more ready to go, and then the second half of the season, you have your best guys in and they're more ready to go. Then at times the last couple of years, we haven't had probably the viable depth that we felt comfortable with putting out on the field in critical situations. I would say we're exceeding that expectation right now.
How will this season ideally look different / better for Orion other than being healthy all year?
Sure.
Because he's played at a couple spots for you. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's on our punt team right now, which is certainly a great spot for him. So we're still going to ask him to help us on special teams, which is an important position as a leader as well. He is healthy right now. He has worked really hard in many ways with his diet, with taking care of his body after practice and all of these things before he gets ready to go out on the field. He is spending an exorbitant amount of time taking care of his body, and he's still leading others at the same time. So a huge credit to him, what he's done. And Obviously, we know there certainly are no guarantees, but he is putting himself in great position to have a great senior year, and that's what we want the guys to do.
We talked a little bit on media day, and you said that the 2s and the 3s are really going at it.
Yep.
What do those look like, Mike, Will, and Sam? Kind of who are those guys
Sure,
that are
we're
fighting it out?
we're rotating a number of guys in. You know, 2 guys that have been here at Sam linebacker that are competing for 2 or 3 would be Carson Marshall and Cole Peterson. Backing up Orion would be Miles Mendezoon and Will McLaughlin. Those guys are really going at it there. And then behind Gary Vaughn at Will would be Kendall Jackson and Jacob Ellis. Those would be the 2 guys really. So those are really the guys that are getting the bulk of the reps right now. So we're going to need them all. I'll tell you that, and we're going to need them all, not just on special teams, but all for our defense to be the best it can be.
They still on a pretty even line, or some of those starting to
As
separate
far
a
as
little
declaring
bit?
the 2s, I would say at this point, I think we'll know more once we get out of Sunday.
Okay.
Once we get through today's video, get ourselves out of Sunday, and then take a deep breath. Hey, where are we going to head into Monday? I think we'll have a better line of delineation at that point.
What's the biggest area of growth you've seen from Gary?
Physically, he's in the best condition that he's ever been in, which is allowing him to be a better player. You know, he's playing in a lot more space right now, but I think his training through the summer allowed him to adjust to that. And then the other thing that he's in a position to do is be a leader right now. And he's doing a great job of that off the field, on the field, in the video room, and all those things with the young guys. So he's transformed in a lot of ways, really.
Is he a guy that you can tell gained a lot from the experience he got being with Jake and being with Mike? And
I think so. From that for sure. And he's had a lot of game experience, though he might not have started in 30 or 40 games, right? He's played in really all of them, not just on special teams, but at linebacker in multiple spots. So I think all of that, and it's kind of all coming together for him right now at this point. Yep.
Thank you.